All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle a topic that's been causing a ton of buzz and, frankly, a lot of confusion. Prompt engineering. What's its real value in a world where AI is getting smarter by the second? Let's get into it. So let's just jump right in with the big, provocative claim that's been making the rounds. You've probably seen the headlines or heard the whispers online that this once critical AI skill is suddenly obsolete. But is that really the whole story? And what's so interesting about this is that this so-called death, it's not really about the skill becoming useless at all. It's about its role just completely changing, like a total transformation. Right, so here's the key thing to get. Prompt engineering didn't just poof, disappear. No, it's evolved. It's gone from the super specialized kind of niche skill to something way more common, way more accessible. What we're really seeing isn't the skill dying, but as the source says, it's more like the end of a role as we used to know it. Okay, so what's behind all this? What's really driving this massive shift? Why did something that seemed so specialized, so complex just a little while ago, suddenly become, well, commonplace? Turns out, it's basically 3 key tech advancements all happening at once. Yeah, there's actually a word for this. It's called commoditization. And it's a classic pattern, right? You have a skill or a product that's super valuable, kind of rare, and then over time it becomes so widespread and easy to get that its special value goes down. And that is exactly what's happened with basic prompting. So let's break down those 3 drivers. First up, the AIs themselves. They've just gotten so much better at understanding plain old human language. It's kind of wild. Second, the AI is now actually helping us write better prompts. It'll suggest things or ask you to clarify. And third, these models have learned from, literally millions of examples of great prompts that are already out there. You put those 3 things together, and suddenly you don't need a secret password to get a decent result anymore.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting, I think. Because prompt engineering didn't die. It was reborn. It's evolved into something with a totally new, and you could argue a much more important and lasting purpose.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The old value was all about knowing these technical magic spells, right? These weird phrases and structures to kind of trick the AI into doing what you wanted. But the new value? Totally different. It's all about strategic dialogue. It's about collaborating with the AI, not just commanding it. And I absolutely love this analogy from the source. It used to be like a vending machine. You put in your coin, that's your prompt, and boom, you get a product out. Transaction over. But now, it's much more like playing wall ball. You serve an idea, the AI hits it back, and you get into this rally, this back and forth, making the result better and better with every hit.
So, what does this whole wall ball thing mean for the skills you actually need to have? Let's take a look at the modern toolkit for what we should probably just start calling AI dialogue.
To really tap into the power of today's AI, it pretty much boils down to a few core abilities. We're going to focus on the 3 big ones, the foundational skills that really unlock this whole new collaborative way of working. First up, and honestly, this is probably the most important one, is masterful questioning. And this has nothing to do with prompt tricks. It's all about deep thinking. Can you really get to the core, the true essence of the problem you're trying to solve? And then can you translate that into a super clear, logical question? Because let's be real, a vague question is always going to get you a vague answer. The real skill here is knowing what to ask in the first place. Okay, number 2 is all about choosing your tools. The source gives this great example of a carpenter. A carpenter doesn't just use a hammer for everything, right? Of course not. They've got a whole toolbox, saws, drills, sanders, and they know exactly which tool is right for which job. It's the same idea here. You've got to understand that different AIs have different strengths. You need to pick the best one for your specific goal, whether you're trying to write something, analyze data, or create an image. And the third ability is what ties it all together, deepening the dialogue. This is the wall ball rally in action. You can't just take the AI's first response and call it a day. No, you have to read it critically, look for the gaps, find the spots where it could be better. And then you use precise re-questioning to guide the AI toward a deeper, more powerful insight. That back and forth, that's what separates a casual user from someone who's truly collaborating with the AI. So look, if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this. The game has changed. It's not about engineering anymore. It's not about trying to figure out the machine with clever commands. The real power, the value that's going to last, is in mastering the art of dialogue. And that completely changes our goal, doesn't it? We're not hunting for that one single perfect prompt anymore. What we're really doing is learning how to ask the perfect question and then how to build on that answer.
It's not about talking to an AI anymore. It's about learning how to think with one. So that leaves just one final question for you. What are you going to ask?